So now we are continuing on with finding slope, but this time it's with the equation. And we reviewed that equation quickly on the last video, and the equation is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, so I don't like my handwriting right there, but anyways. All right, so what that means is that you will be given, this time you're not given a graph. You are given a set of ordered pairs, -1, -2, -4, +1, let's say. And this, again, is coming from page 257, example 2. Actually, I'll call that example 2, from your textbook. So the first step, step 1, is to label your ordered pairs. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. You want to do that every single time. Now, it doesn't matter if I called this one x1, y1, and this one x2, y2, but the x always is first, then the y. It's also alphabetical order. And that's how you've always labeled your, when you're graphing, it's always x, y. So x1, y1, x2, y2. What the x1 is standing for is this is my first set of ordered pairs. So that's why it's x1, the first x, the first y, the second x, the second y for the two sets of ordered pairs. Step 2, write your equation. Now I know I just wrote it up there, but the more I write it, the more it helps me memorize the equation. Step 3 is to plug in your ordered pairs. So step 3 is to plug them in. So here we go. M equals y2. So take your time on this. y2, I go up here since I've already labeled it, and I'm going to write that 1 minus y1. Well, y1 was a -2. So then the next one, x2. So x2 is -4 minus x1, which is -1. So a common question is someone's going to say, or thinking probably right now, why is there a minus sign in between them? 1, it just is. That's the formula. It's just something to memorize. But if you really want to know, if you go back to the original notes wherever I wrote them earlier from yesterday or the previous lesson, it's the change in x or the change in y over the change in x. The difference in y and the difference in x. Difference means to subtract. So you're finding the difference, you're finding by subtracting. All right, so here we go. Now be careful with our signs. 1 minus a -2, so that would change into y plus 2, and -4 plus 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3, and -4 plus 1 is -3. We reduce it. So 3 over 3, that would just be -1. You could also have like that, and that's correct too, -1 over 1, but either one. So you'll notice that I had a negative here on the denominator, but when I wrote my answer, I wrote it up on the numerator. It's just the proper way to write things. It doesn't matter if you kept the negative on the bottom. Just as a side note, this is the same as this, which is the same as this. This has nothing to do with the example I just did. I'm just showing you that there's lots of different ways when you have a negative on the bottom or the top, there's different ways to write it. So when I put it on when it was a negative here and me putting it up on the numerator there, that didn't change anything. So then that's your answer. All right, next. So what I would do on this one is I would try and work this one out on your own and see if, pause it or whatever, and see if we have the same answer. So this one is 1, 1, 3, 4. So I always, and here I am a teacher who's been doing this a long time, I always label because people get things wrong, not because they don't know how to do it, but because they make silly mistakes and plug things in wrong. So don't take that chance. Take the 2 seconds to go and write x1, y1, x2, y2. Then again, I write my equation. Then I plug them in. Y2 is 4 minus y1, which is 1. X2 is 3 minus x1, which is 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. And we're done. So that's that. Now, there's other kinds, and hopefully everyone's watching both of these videos, where we have 2 special kinds of slope. We have what's called zero slope. Zero slope is when you have a horizontal line, and I'll show you why for 2 reasons. A horizontal line. So I'm just going to make a quick little graph here. So what I mean by that is that if you had a line, and think about it, because the definition of slope is steepness, and this has no steepness. So one is a memorization. If you see a horizontal line, you can know that the answer is 0. And I have a corny but yet helpful little way. Horizontal has a Z in it. And remember, horizon. So the sun comes up out of the horizon. So a horizontal line, Z, zero slope, horizontal. So if they give you if you just see a horizontal line, then you automatically know it's 0. You're done. You don't have to do any kind of counting for it. You're finished. Now, let's say they gave you coordinates for it. So what that looks like, using the math equation, 1, 2, negative 1, 2. So let's say you have no idea what it looks like over here. You're just given a set of ordered pairs. So I label x1, y1, x2, y2. So write my equation. Y2 is 2 minus y1, which is 2. X2 is negative 1 minus x1, which is 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. Negative 1 and negative 1 is negative 2. Whenever you have, oh my gosh, and I just had a light bulb moment. I'm kind of excited about this. Look, this 0 on the top looks like this kind of the sun coming over the line. So whenever you have 0 on top, your answer is 0. 0 is your answer. So when 0 is on the numerator, like the sun is on the line, I've been alone too long. I need you guys. When 0 is on the top, just like the sun is on the top of the horizon, your answer is 0. So now that was one special kind, a zero slope. The next kind of line is called undefined. So an undefined line, like I did in the last one, I'm going to show you what it looks like visually, and then we'll do it with the math equation. So if you have a graph and you see a line that goes just up and down, that is undefined. Up and down equals undefined. And you know I have to have a stupid rule for it. Look, up and down. If the line is going up and down, then it is undefined. You know you like that, up and down. Okay, now what that looks like for the equation. 1, negative 2, 1, and 3. So again, x1, y1, x2, y2. So what I'm doing now is this is what, this one has nothing to do with this. This is when if you have a graph and you just have an up and down line, it's undefined. This is using a math equation. Like let's say on your IXL or whenever, they give you a set of ordered pairs and you have to figure out what the slope is. So I'm going to plug this into the equation. y2 is 3 minus y1. x2 is 1 minus x1 is 1. 3 minus negative 2 is 5. 1 minus 1 is 0. So when 0 is under, it is undefined. The reason for that is if you literally type this into your calculator, 5 divided by 0, it would come up error in your calculator. 0 is not allowed to be on the denominator. So when 0 is on the denominator, you are going to write undefined. All right, hope this helps. I love and miss you all. Bye.